On the slopes of Hui, a tomb rises, a monument where tradition and modernity collide. Rising from the hillside of Chau Chu Mountain, a tomb rises above Hui, stark, steep, and unlike any that came before. This is the Khải Định Mausoleum, built in the 1920s for Vietnam's penultimate emperor. Here, tradition meets modernity. Concrete and iron replace stone and wood, while porcelain mosaics shimmer beside Gothic arches and Roman details. Every step up its stairways tells the story of a dynasty caught between its past and a colonial present. More than a resting place, the mausoleum is a monument to transformation, a fusion of East and West, and a symbol of Vietnam's heritage enduring through change. The journey begins with 37 steep steps leading to the Tam Quan Gate. Dragons coil along the balustrades, stone guardians stand watch, and each stride feels ceremonial, a passage from the outside world into the emperor's realm. This climb sets the tone for the mausoleum, imposing, deliberate, and symbolic of Khải Định ambition. At the summit of the first staircase stands the Tam Quan Gate, the ceremonial threshold of Khải Định tomb. Its 3 arches are more than architecture. The central arch, reserved for ritual, the flanking arches guiding visitors, together symbolizing the passage from the earthly world into sacred space. Unlike earlier Nguyen tombs, this gate is built of concrete, adorned with dragons and European flourishes, reflecting both tradition and colonial influence. Stone guardians line the approach, their presence reinforcing the emperor's authority. Crossing beneath the Tam Quan Gate is not simply entry, it is a transition. It marks the beginning of a journey through grandeur and symbolism, where Khải Định vision unfolds step by step, blending heritage with modernity. 13 steps rise beyond the gate, flanked by stone mandarins and guardians, a solemn path upward.
The taxes up to like 40%, 100% imported materials. For example, later you get up there, you're gonna see like the cement, the concrete, mostly from France, let's say France. And if you ever see like the ceramic, it's from China and from Japan. Very fancy and very expensive. Ho Chi Minh got a very famous saying about him. Like he was a very loyal salary employee of the French government and nothing more than that. When you go up to the top into the temple, you're also gonna see like a huge statue of the King number 12. So it was like a reward for the King number 12 because he was just a very loyal employee for the French. And he also, if you see in the portrait, he put a lot of medals on his chest to show off his loyalty to the French. So now you're gonna walk up this way. I'll show you a bit more.
Khải Định was a ruler shaped by the colonial era. His loyalty to the French was clear. He embraced their influence, adopting Western styles and materials for his tomb. This devotion drew criticism, yet it left behind a monument that reflects Vietnam's uneasy balance between tradition and colonial power.
This is about like the royal courtyard. Those statues in the front and the back. The back is the regular soldiers or servants. So you look at the feet, bare feet. In the past, whoever, bare feet. Servant will be, and you see the front round.
Beyond the second staircase lies the royal courtyard, a vast terrace lined with stone mandarins, elephants, and horses. Each figure stands in solemn formation, representing the emperor's court in eternal service. The symmetry is deliberate. Officials, warriors, and guardians, arranged as if awaiting Khải Định command. Here, the courtyard becomes a stage of power, a silent assembly carved in stone, reminding visitors that even in death, the emperor's authority endures. The climb continues, layer by layer, toward Khải Định palace above. As the palace reveals itself, its stark concrete walls rise above the terraces, unlike the natural landscapes of earlier Nguyen tombs. Dragons coil along balustrades, Gothic arches frame the facade, and European details mingle with Vietnamese symmetry. The exterior feels austere, almost severe, a deliberate break from tradition. Yet this severity is part of Khải Định vision, a monument that reflects both loyalty to the French and his desire for permanence. Standing before the palace, visitors sense the weight of colonial influence and imperial ambition, embodied in stone and shadow. The palace's concrete walls, once pale, have darkened under Hui's tropical rains. Decades of weathering turned them black, giving the mausoleum a Gothic, somber air. This stark exterior contrasts with the explosion of color inside, a deliberate play between shadow and brilliance. There is a sign stating that filming is not allowed inside the palace. But the tour guide did overhear when our principal photographer inquired about it. As the palace reveals its interior, porcelain mosaics shimmer across walls and ceilings, dragons and clouds glowing in dazzling color. At the center sits a bronze statue of Khải Định, cast in France, beneath which his body lies 9 meters underground. A rare design meant to protect his remains and symbolize permanence. Conceived by Khải Định himself, the mausoleum fuses Vietnamese tradition with European Gothic and Baroque styles. Born in Hue in 1885, he ruled from 1916 until his death from tuberculosis in 1925, leaving behind a legacy of loyalty to France and controversy. Khải Định mausoleum endures as both masterpiece and paradox, a fusion of East and West, shadow and brilliance. In its blackened concrete and radiant mosaics, the emperor's legacy lives on, inviting reflection on Vietnam's complex past.